Imagine living through a moment of chaos, facing the unknown, doing what has to be done, and then being expected to jump straight into the next like nothing's happened. We treat our minds like elastic bands, stretch them to the edge during a crisis, and then expect them to snap back the second it's over. We pride ourselves on how long we can hold it down, how long we can keep our cool, how long we can stay on. But what about that fleeting moment where everything goes quiet and your nervous system starts processing what your mind hasn't caught up to yet? What about the silence in between, however brief it may be? Hey, night shifters. If your life or your work asks you to stay on more than it asks you to recover, clock in. You're in the right place tonight. And tonight's shout out is for the first responders and for everybody out there doing high pressure work in a low compassion world. And with a special shout out to my sister in blue, Officer S. Smith. Tonight, Mind After Midnight is holding space for you. So the other night, I stepped out for some quick takeout. I'm standing in line, nobody ahead of me, waiting almost 3 minutes just to be acknowledged. Someone walks in behind me. I turn, ready to share my frustration. And the first thing I notice is blue, black, a badge, and hardware. Chicago PD. But wait, just as quickly, I noticed her. Caramel-colored melanin skin, and her hair, locks that fell just past her chin. Chosen to be both stylish and tactical, I'm sure. And her posture, both feminine and badass. You know, the kind of woman you could tell took care of herself, but also you could tell she could take care of herself. We lock eyes. There's a familiar knowing, an unspoken, "Hey sis," one that made her uniform fade into the background. I said, "Girl, I've been standing here almost 3 minutes and no one's even looked my way." She scanned the room, hand tucked in her vest, like she's always standing on business. She returned a side eye that said, "Girl, I know you kidding." And from that moment on, we were just two sisters talking. In those few moments, we covered more than takeout. Two women holding space, listening, checking in, wishing each other well, and then heading our separate ways. That was it. A moment of humanity, the silence in between. We talked about stress, the kind that comes with the job, the kind that never really turns itself off. And she expressed in her own way, emotional and physical stress are just a part of the career. And I remember thinking, yeah, I get it. Now listen closely, because here's the part that matters. While most people assume danger is the hardest part of the job, chronic stress is actually the most constant one. It's called cumulative stress. Some call it stress stacking. It's what happens when you go from one high-stress situation to the next, without your mind or body ever fully coming down. Nothing gets released and nothing gets processed. It just piles up. And over time, that weight doesn't stay quiet. It shows up in your body, your mood, your relationships, even your reaction timing. And if we're being real, this isn't just a law enforcement problem. This is many of us too. Stress stacking shows up in everyday life. Single parents, caregivers, side hustlers, grievers, entrepreneurs, people just out here trying to hold it together with no built-in pause. It's what I call the always on state. The body stays in alert mode. Heart rate elevated, muscles tense, breathing shallow. And the brain still watching for danger, even when it's over. It's like your body never got the memo that the crisis has passed. When I was little, my mother had one of those big pressure cookers. The pot would shake and whistle, sometimes violently, like it had a warning label on it. And every time she went to release the steam, she'd warn me, "Step back." She'd make me step away from the stove, because the pressure inside could literally blow the top off. That's what happens with us. Think of your body and mind like that pressure cooker. Every stressful moment turns up the heat. And if you never vent the steam, the system eventually fails, blows up, break down, shut down, burn out. And it's not because someone is weak, and it's not because they're untrained, but it's because no system is designed to run nonstop under pressure. So here's the math, how the body actually responds. Every stressful moment releases adrenaline and cortisol. And under normal conditions, Your body needs 20 to 60 minutes to come back down. But when you're back to back to back to back, those chemicals don't clear. They just stack. So now you're showing up to the next situation on leftover stress from the last one. And eventually, that looks like shorter patience, clouded judgment, emotional detachment, and a kind of tired that no amounts of sleep can fix. That's not a character flaw, night shifters. That's just biology. And I get it. Sometimes there's no space for a moment. But that's why small pauses matter. We're just talking 30 to 90 seconds. Slower breathing. Grounding. Maybe hands on the steering wheel or feet flat on the floor. Even a ritual like washing your hands before the next call or the next interaction or the next appointment. It's not an indulgence. It's maintenance. And here's the part we don't talk enough about. Those tiny gaps between the chaos. That's where your healing starts. That's where your body whispers, you made it. You're safe. Let it go. But if we skip those moments, if we rush right through them, dismiss them, or fill them with more noise, your system never gets the message. So, take the pause, not just to catch your breath, but to send that signal to your nervous system. It says, we're okay now. That's what the silence in between is. It's not a void. It's not a waste. It's a necessary reset. And for all my night shifters out there stacking stress, your pause is not a luxury. Think of it as a survival strategy. So breathe like it matters, and exhale like it's a ritual, because it is. To every officer, every nurse, every frontline responder, every parent, every caretaker, every soul doing their best on depleted energy. You deserve more than an applause. You deserve a moment. And finally, to Officer Shanice Smith, thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for the moment of sisterhood on a brisk Chicago night. May your work protect lives. May your presence shift rooms. And may your Black girl magic never be dimmed. Sis, you are now officially part of the night shift. And if this resonated with you out there, share it. Send it to someone who needs permission to pause. Because Mind After Midnight with Maven is holding space. Clock out, night shifter.